Are you tired of feeling like you're always short on time and, well, not really making much progress in your genealogy research? In this video, I'm sharing with you 15 quick genealogy tasks that you can do in 15 minutes or less. Now, I know that feeling of being short on time or feeling like I just need 2 hours to sit down and research my genealogy research, when in reality, all I really can grab are like 15 minutes here or 15 minutes there in those busy times. But that's okay, because we actually can make progress on our genealogy research in very small increments of time. Sure, it's ideal if we can have an entire day, an entire weekend, or even just 2 hours to sit down and research, right? But the reality is that's not always the case. So let's get right into 15 tasks that you can do that take 15 minutes or less. Now, when you're getting ready to get started, one of the best things that you can use is actually a timer. Now, most of us have them on our cell phones or on our smartwatches these days, but set that timer for 15 minutes, because that way you know when you have a hard stop. And also, when you're working against the timer, you will be super focused to get done what it is you want to get done in those short 15 minutes. Now, the first thing that you can do in 15 minutes is you can review a document for clues. Sometimes the answers that you are looking for are really right there in that document, right in front of you. So take a single record, maybe a census page or a marriage record, and carefully review it. Look for overlooked details such as who are the next door neighbors? Who are the witnesses that happen to appear on a certain document? Maybe you're looking for occupations or different spelling variations. Jot down everything that catches your eye, even small details, because they could be important in your research further down the line. And the next time you have those larger periods of time to research, pull out your notes and you're ready to follow up on the details. Now, number 2, do a search for a record. Be sure and set that timer for 15 minutes, because it's very easy to go off the rails when you're looking for those records in the databases. Search for one specific record in your favorite genealogy database. For example, look for an obituary or a birth record, but staying focused on searching for just one type of record will keep the task manageable and doable. Number 3, sit down and create a template for your file names. Take just 15 minutes and establish a consistent naming pattern for your genealogy files. Now, this could look something like a surname, a first name, a record type, and a date. However you want to structure it is fine. But when you have a standard way of always naming your files that you download for your ancestor, you're going to have an easier time finding them in the future. You will save a lot of time that you can be doing research, because you won't be fumbling around trying to remember how you named the file and where in the world you actually put it. Now, I would love to learn from you. If you have a favorite genealogy task that you can do in 15 minutes, be sure and let me know in the comments below, because I want to make sure that we are taking this opportunity to learn from each other and, well, make progress on our genealogy research in these short periods of time. Number 4, set that timer for 15 minutes and you can scan and save photographs. Now, if you're like me and have a collection of old family photographs still needing to be scanned and filed, you can take 15 minutes, set that timer, and start scanning. When 15 minutes is up, it's stopped. So I can get quite a few done in that short amount of time and really just kind of chip away at my goal of getting all of my family photographs digitized and filed appropriately. Now, number 5, in 15 minutes, you can check for new DNA matches and make note of any that you would like to follow up on in the future when you have a longer period of time to sit down and research. This regular checking and quick checking of those matches will set you up for success and more time to research when you have a longer, more focused time in the future. Now, number 6, this is one of my favorite and one of the most overlooked things that we do in genealogy research, and that is to go back and recheck a database for updates. Genealogy websites are frequently adding new information to the websites. So for your 15 minutes, pick one, go and review what new records have been added and make note if any of those are needed. And if you find some that you want to explore deeper, add them to your research plan, so the next time you have a larger chunk of time, you can sit down and do that. You are ready to go. Now, number 7 is to update your family tree. Open your family tree and add new facts or new people that you have found previously and have not as of yet added to your tree. Maybe you uncovered a new marriage record, but you just haven't had a chance to upload that record to the family tree. Go ahead and do it. It doesn't take much time and you'll get it off your to-do list. Number 8, create a research plan. Research plans do not have to be overly complicated. Draft your research question, something along the lines of, where was my great-grandfather living in 1920? This was a real question for me because I actually lost him. And that was a focus of part of my research. Where did he go? And then on that research plan, identify the sources that would be helpful to you to figure out where he might have been. Because I can tell you that when you have a clear plan, regardless of how much time you have when you sit down to research, if you have a plan, you are going to be much more efficient and much more focused on your research and make more progress. Now, number 9, back up your research. We all know we should do it, but really, how often do we do this? 15 minutes, back up your genealogy research onto your external hard drive, into the cloud storage, and just make sure you have got everything safe. Now, I have done a video about how to back up your genealogy research, and so I will link that in the descriptions below as for you to refer to. Number 10, we're already up to number 10. You can create your own genealogy education plan for yourself. What is it you want to learn about genealogy? What area of genealogy do you need to learn more about in the coming year? Maybe it's DNA analysis. Maybe you want to learn more about newspaper research and how to do it. List 3 topics that you want to learn about in the coming months or the coming year, and look for one resource for each topic. This will be your guide in your genealogy learning journey. Number 11, search newspaper databases for one ancestor. Use a historical newspaper database and search for a single name. Don't get distracted by all the others that you might find, but search for one person in the newspapers. You could perhaps find a wedding announcement for your ancestor, a court case, or even his or her participation in a small community event. Be sure and save anything that's useful. Now, number 12, you can reach out and contact a relative. Send a quick message, a text, an email to a relative. Ask them about a specific family question that you have. They may not have all the answers, and that's okay, but they also might point you in the right direction or help you solve a family history mystery. So take that thought of, I should reach out to Aunt so-and-so and ask her about my great-great-grandfather, to actually doing it. Number 13, explore maps. Find your ancestor's address or where your ancestor lived on a historical map. Tools like Google Maps or historical atlases can help you visualize better where your ancestor lived and how that area has changed over time. Now, number 14, you can review hints in your family tree that the genealogy databases will suggest. If you use genealogy database platforms such as Ancestry.com or MyHeritage, spend some time reviewing the hints that they suggest for your family tree. You will need to check the accuracy and verify the information before you add it to your tree. And of course, you can ignore or decline any hints that are not actually part of your tree as well. So take time and just kind of chip away at this. Most of these databases will offer you many hints to your genealogy research, and it can get a bit overwhelming. So I usually start with just one ancestor that I'm working on and review their hints there. And so I try not to do all of them at one time, but I choose one ancestor and go through their hints and work my way that way. There's no way I'll ever get through all of them, but I do find some really cool stuff, and it does help me move my research forward. Now we've made it down to 15, right? And that would be to watch an educational genealogy video. Now here on YouTube, there are oodles of genealogy videos. Now some are longer and more in depth, and some are on the shorter side. So when you only have 15 minutes, choose one of the shorter ones and start watching. And here's a tip. You can actually watch at 1.5 speed or twice the speed and get through it even quicker if you need to. Save any helpful videos that you want to watch, but maybe are perhaps too long for your 15-minute time period. Save them to a watch later playlist for future reference when you have a little bit more time in your day. Now, one of the tasks that I mentioned was about backing up your genealogy research. So learn more about how to do that in the video on your screen now.